Every year that you roll the dice on a deer surviving, the odds get slimmer, and sometimes there are decisions made that you could regret for the rest of your life, like passing on a giant frame buck in September hoping he makes it through 12 more weeks of deer season and winter. That is a big deer, and there's a lot of season left that he could get shot, but if we shoot him, we'll never know. But every now and then, they survive.
Opening day of the Saskatchewan whitetail season. We're after a buck that she actually passed up last year.
And you get the honor to sit for, to hunt, to hope that you may share just one more moment in the woods with a truly legendary deer. So many of us dream of being here, behind a giant whitetail, but getting there is a journey. They say getting there is half the fun, and that couldn't be more true when following and appreciating these incredible deer. We work all year long, scouting, preparing, always learning, largely through trial and error, and sharing what has been learnt with a new generation. And when fall comes, the stage is set, we've done the work, and there's a plan in place. And we get to head out, knowing that most days will fail, but you go back again and again, knowing that at some point, maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to bring that dream to life. That if you put the time in, and with a bit of luck, you'll get to share a moment in the deer woods with a legend. Taylor, that is a giant buck. It was well worth it just to watch him step out. Gorgeous deer. That would be the shortest hunt.
That was quick, eh?
He's down right there, buddy.
I'm still shaking.
He is awesome.
We weren't even ready for that. Holy buckets.
Wow, it's an amazing deer.
Whoa, I can't believe it. I think you got a booked deer, girl.
You just never know what's going to step out. Beautiful deer.
StealthCam presents Canadian Whitetail, brought to you by Ozonics, undetectable, undeniable. New archery products, hunt with confidence. Monster Meal, attraction, nutrition, results. Muddy, serious gear for serious hunters. Excalibur Crossbow, different for a reason. Black Eagle Arrows, superior carbon technology. Hunter's Specialties, serious hunting tools. Dart and Archery, for hunters that demand performance. Cold Steel Knives, anytime, anywhere. Heater Bodysuit, #1 in cold weather hunting gear. Raculator, score your trophy fast, easy, and accurate. Central Boiler, outdoor wood furnaces. Boyd's hardwood gun stocks, better with Boyd's. And by StealthCam, the leader in trail cam technology.
Patience. Patience in the deer woods can pay off. And this week's episode is a perfect example of just how big that payoff can be. And we're hunting with my lovely wife, Rochelle. Last season, we shared the history of this beautiful buck as we followed him over the last couple of years, and the incredible deer that he eventually grew into. An incredibly big frame buck and a deer that Rochelle was headed in to hunt. Knowing that the deer could still grow, heading in we were unsure what Rochelle would do. Also knowing that it'd be very difficult to pass a deer of this caliber up, and it would only take 4 sits to find out. She's back. And, haven't seen him yet, but some of the good news is that he's in our door now. Just day 4, and the giant was on the scene. Rochelle had turned her safety off and gotten ready as we waited for the buck to turn and present a quality shot. And when he did turn, while watching the deer in absolute amazement, we were just waiting for her arrow to fly, but it never came. Looking over, I seen why. Rochelle had decided to pass. she's crazy. I think she's lost her mind. That is a big deer. Yeah. So he's not a real old deer. He's a year. There'd be another year before we'd want to hunt that deer normally. But he looked pretty nice, and Mama wanted to have a look at him. That's a tough deer to pass, boy. And there's a lot of season left that he could get shot, but... That was a hard deer to pass, and the odds are stacked against Rochelle. The deer has to survive the rest of hunting season in a high-pressure area. He has to survive the rut, and then the ruthless Canadian winter. The deer went missing in October, and we were sure he was dead. But then on the very last day of season, December 2nd, just after dark, 2 stealth cam photos gave us hope. Incredibly, he'd survived just the first hurdle to make it through to next fall, hunting season. But there was a long winter yet. And then more hope, spotting a lone tine poking through the snow. He hadn't made it all the way yet, but things were promising.
This segment of Canadian Whitetail is brought to you by OnX Hunt, the most trusted GPS mapping app. Download the OnX Hunt app today. Know where you stand with OnX Hunt. This segment has been brought to you by the Raculator, the world's best electronic scoring device. Score any antlered or horned game, and even sheds, fast, easy, and accurate with the Raculator. Get yours today at raculator.com.
A new year and a new hope that the buck had survived, and with the history we had with the deer, we knew just where to look in June. With a lot of anticipation and some worry, after a week we headed back in to check the stealth cam. And the buck was alive, but we had good reason to worry. His antler growth compared to years previous for June was very behind. But July would come. And to our amazement, the buck would make up for lost time, pushing out an enormous 5x5 frame with a small drop. It was an astonishing sight, as you could see him progress near daily. With the deer having survived another year and looking to be easily his best yet, we were up early on a foggy August morning, headed in to ensure that things were ready for fall. Some of us already worn out before we even started. We just snuck back in here today. This blind, this is where my wife passed up that big 4x4 last year. And we actually wanted to be very cautious with him. So we didn't even take this blind down last year. I just put a pull prop in there just to keep the roof propped up over the winter. I came about 2 weeks ago, put a little bit of brush up there. It died off a little bit. We added a little bit more today, and we're just gonna leave it now. So we were lucky enough to get one of the buck's sheds. We weren't able to find the other one. And we picked back up on him in June, about half a mile away from here. Right off the bat, we were a little bit worried that maybe Rochelle had made the wrong decision because he wasn't looking very good this year. But now through July, he really put some horn on it. He's pushed out a 5x5 frame this year instead of a 4x4. He's got split brows, little drop on the one side. And he's finally looking like a deer that makes sense to have passed last year. He's just a gorgeous deer. I'm sure we're gonna be hunting him this year, but we didn't want to bother anything. So we had the stealth cam and some mouse meal up over there watching him. And then I just slowly started getting the spot ready. The blind was here all winter. So this is the first day we moved the stealth cam up here. We're gonna put some mouse meal here. Then we're gonna get out of here, and we're only gonna come back in maybe a week or 10 days to check the trail camera. We're 3 weeks away from the season. So there's no reason to have bothered that deer in this spot. Nothing is out of place. Nothing's changed other than a little bit of brush I've been adding now and then to the blind. And he's been moving through here all summer. So if he sticks to that, we'll have a good chance at him. We've got 2 stands set up for that deer. This is the primary stand. This is where I'd expect to take that buck. We have another stand set up where he sometimes goes a little bit later in the season that we could use. And we got a trail camera there as well watching it. So 3 weeks, time will tell. With the deer playing catch up in July, and now after getting set up, it's exciting to see what August would bring for the deer. And he did not disappoint. Massive giant beams, tall tines, unique incurled brows, and wide. This is why sometimes the risk of rolling the dice can be so worth it. To take a deer from being a great deer to the deer of a lifetime, and he was stunning. Another year older, another year smarter, and a bit less consistent, but the buck was back. This being my son Magnus's first year able to hunt, I was headed to another stand with him for opening day, and Taylor was taking Steve and Rochelle to her spot. How time flies, and now with everyone in the Partridge household being a licensed hunter, opening day can get a little bit hectic, especially when you need camera people there. But with a little bit of understanding and some help of good friends, everyone usually gets where they need to be. The theme for 2022 seemed to be very windy days, something that our deer definitely do not like. However, nothing will be accomplished at home, and Rochelle was headed in.
Alrighty, here we are. It is opening day of the Saskatchewan whitetail season. We're after a buck that she actually passed up last year. He was a 4x4 up until this year. Now he's a 5x5. He was really nice last year. He looks really good this year. I'm hoping the deer move when the wind calms down a little bit, and we get to have a look at this big bad boy and see if we're going to take him home with us. She didn't get one last year, so she's probably got a little bit of an itch going on here. So anyways, we're going to sit back and enjoy this beautiful evening and see what happens. Stay tuned.
Rochelle and Steve were all settled in with high hopes as the buck had been on the stealth cam in the days leading up to the season, including just this morning.
This segment is brought to you by AAE. Innovation and integrity is in our blood. Quality and dependability is in our products. Canadian Whitetail is also brought to you by Pro Expedition Scents and Lures, because it works. Tacticam, share your hunt. OnX Hunt, know where you stand. Hawk, hunt from above or attack from the ground. Conquest Archery Accessories, and by AAE, quality and dependability in all our products. This segment of Canadian Whitetail has been brought to you by Boyd's Hardwood Gun Stocks, the world's largest manufacturer of aftermarket hardwood and laminate stocks. Boyd's offers stocks for over 1,200 firearm models, so you can make every gun better with Boyd's.
Early on just day one, the deer seemed to be moving, although many staying out in the flat on this windy season opener. We've noticed over the years that on these windy days, in most cases, the deer like to stay out or away from the bush until things calm down, often feeding out in the flats or in the middle of the fields where their eyesight can give them the advantage. As evening wears on, the wind calms a little, and Rochelle and Steve have a buck make an appearance, this young up-and-comer. As a fairly slow opening day comes to an end with no signs of the Big Ten, hopes are still high. And while Rochelle cannot hunt the next couple of days, she learns about missed opportunities, as on the third day of the season the buck was there, in daylight.
Welcome to this week's Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment. Locate, learn, set up, hunt. Brought to you by Muddy Outdoors.
Trail cameras are by far the most effective tool for the buck hunter, but we have to remember they're still a camera. Like any camera, the image you get depends on the angle, the height of the camera, the distance from the deer, and that can affect how large or not the deer can appear in the photos. And believe me, we've been fooled. Just this year we had a deer we almost didn't hunt because we were unsure how good he looked. My daughter decided to hunt a deer, and when he stepped out, he was a huge typical, well beyond what we had judged. But you can definitely help your photos be more accurate by the placement of the camera. I like to put my stealth cams between my waist and my chest, square to the trail, feed, or water, and about 6 to 8 yards away from where you believe the deer will be. The most accurate photos you'll get will be about level with the deer's head, and a broadside full body photo. Deer walking towards or away from the camera can give you a false judgment on body size versus antlers. And in the end, go hunt the deer, have fun, and have a look, because when he steps out, you'll instantly know.
This week's Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment has been brought to you by Muddy Outdoors. Create your own muddy moment. This segment has been brought to you by Darton Archery. In the archery business for over 70 years, Darton is the world's leader in archery technology and innovation. To experience unmatched shootability, versatility, and reliability, visit your local dealer to shoot the new Darton.
With poor conditions and kids' hockey schedules, Rochelle misses a couple of days on stand and a daylight encounter with the Big Ten. But so is life, and her and Steve are back. Another windy day as the deer are nervous, and many of them again out in the flats. As Rochelle and Steve watched the does and fawns, the next deer that they would see was going to be a real treat. An old, narrow, crazy brow buck that we've filmed for years, a smart old deer that's a pleasure to see, and also a frequent travel pal to the Big Ten. With the crazy brow buck out in the flats, Rochelle and Steve keep extra watch for the Big Ten, as several other deer move early in the evening. A much better day for deer movement, and although not the Big Ten, the next buck they see is this velvet up-and-comer. Even though they haven't seen the target deer, it's hard not to enjoy evenings like this, getting to watch the deer, multiple bucks, and just getting to relax and appreciate them. With this buck from the opener returning, another day would pass, but it's still early in the year's hunt, and while there's always ups and downs, in the coming days things were about to pick up and get bumpy fast.
We're back in the blind again. We've been seeing lots of deer, just not the target buck, and we'll keep plugging away at it until he makes a mistake, so...
Sometimes things don't go as planned, stands can start to wear down, and tough decisions need to be made.
Cutting our evening short tonight by the deer behavior. They keep coming towards us, and then all of a sudden they fan off the other direction. We're gonna get out of here, and hopefully that will help us.
There's merit to waiting, for everything to be perfect, and there's reward to be had for the lucky.
Last time we got to sit in this blind, it was 10 long days ago. We've been keeping an eye on the camera. He's now in Hardhorn, and hopefully we have good luck tonight.
And after years of watching, waiting, passing, sometimes it takes just a dash of luck to finally have the encounter of a lifetime.
This segment is brought to you by Wild Edge, makers of the ultimate climbing system, the Step Ladder. Safely design your climb in any tree with the most versatile, lightweight, and compact climbing system, the Step Ladder. To book your own dream hunt in northern Saskatchewan, contact us at Canadian Whitetail Outfitters. Canadian Whitetail is also brought to you by these fine sponsors. Stay up to date with Dean and the team by following us on Instagram, liking us on Facebook, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. For Canadian Whitetail gear and apparel, information, and newsletters, visit CanadianWhitetailTV.com. For past episodes and never-seen content, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or search for us wherever you stream.